Good afternoon, one and all present here. 15th October is the birth anniversary of our late President, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who strongly advocated importance of reading, especially for young minds. To pay tribute to Sir Kalam, in India, we mark this day as Reading Inspiration Day, a creative, non-academic learning day. So today at STIE, we are celebrating Vachan Prerana Din. So to start with the program, let us be a part of this special assembly dedicated to Vachan, that is reading.
Good afternoon to everyone present today. I request all of you to take a prayerful posture. For the Lord gives wisdom, from his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. Proverb verse 2. Lord of heaven and earth, I pray that as I search for knowledge in books, that I will discover divine treasure. May I be able to sift through all I read to find the gems of your kingdom. Lord, I long not for the wisdom that leads to power or fortune, but the wisdom that leads to faith and love. Hello, am I audible to you all now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, ma'am. Nicolette, can you please? Yes. I'm really sorry for the network issue. Let us once again please join your hand. Lord, we come before you and desire that our lives to be like an open book. Come write your story of love across every page. May we hear your voice of guidance in all we do. We thank you that as your children, we can grow in wisdom. Please give us teachable attitudes and hearts that love to learn the truth even when it's uncomfortable. Come reveal to us all that we need to see along the way as we journey on this incredible adventure with you. Amen. Let's listen to the hymn.
They say you're the king of everything, the one who taught the wind to sing, the source of the rhythm my heart keeps beating. And they say you can give the blind their sight, and you can bring the dead to life. You can be the hope my soul's been seeking. I wanna tell you now that I believe it. I wanna tell you now that I believe it. I do, that you can make me new.
Bonjour. Bonjour.
There goes the baker with his tray, like always. The same old bread and rolls to serve. Every morning just the same, since the morning that we came to this poor provincial town.
Good morning, Belle.
Good morning, Monsieur Jean. Have you lost something again?
Well, I believe I have. The problem is I can't remember what. Oh, well, I'm sure it'll come to me. Where are you off to?
To return this book to Père Robert. It's about two lovers in fair Verona.
Sounds boring.
There she goes, her going strange, no question.
Dazed and distracted, can't you tell?
Give a heart up and be proud, cause her head's up on some cloud. No denying she's a funny girl, that Belle.
We live in a society where reading is not considered important at all. Many of us have got our priorities focused on something else or the other. But for people like Belle, who have always kept up to their passion and the rest of the world continue to look down upon them, let's all realize today how important reading is to us.
Everyone knows that reading is important, but have you ever asked yourself, why is that so? Reading is one of the most beneficial and practical activity that a human being can do. Let's watch a video on importance of reading.
You may ask yourself, what is the point of reading? In today's fast-paced world, reading is becoming a dying habit because there are fast alternatives to consume on social media. I read about a book a month, so I'm going to give you my top 10 reasons on why reading is important and why you should read. 1. Reading is food for the brain. In my opinion, this is the biggest reason why reading is important. Just like how our body needs food to sustain itself and function optimally, our brain needs to continue learning new things to function at peak performance. The best part is that you can read fiction and non-fiction to get this benefit. Studies have shown that reading has the power to change your brain structure, which makes you more empathetic and improves cognitive processes. By reading more, you become smarter since you're consuming a lot of information and you keep your brain in top shape. There's this quote from Game of Thrones that sums up this point nicely. My brother has his sword, King Robert has his warhammer, and I have my mind. And a mind needs books, as a sword needs a whetstone, if it is to keep its edge. Tyrion Lannister. 2. You become better at conversations. Books help expand your vocabulary, which you can then use to express yourself better. Your speech will then be more refined and intelligent. Also, since reading widens your knowledge, you are empowered to participate in an interesting conversation. With the knowledge you gain from reading, you can add a unique perspective or sustain your argument. In this case, reading nonfiction can be better because you can learn about topics that show up more often in a regular conversation, like technology. But there are also instances where reading fiction can be better, like when there's a new popular movie out based on a book and you read the original source material. 3. You can get mentored by a successful person for a very cheap price. Think about how much a successful person's knowledge is worth. People are willing to pay millions to have lunch with Warren Buffett. If you're a normal person like me, you don't have that kind of money. But with books, you can get mentored by a successful person for less than $50. A book is literally the exact words, ideas, mindsets, advice, and even the experience of the author put into a collection of papers. It's almost like if the person is right there next to you, speaking to you. 75 of self-made millionaires reported that they read at least 2 books a month. The knowledge you can get from reading is irreplaceable. 4. Reading improves your focus and concentration. In our fast-paced world today, our attention spans are really short. Reading a book can help fix this because when you read, your attention is only focused on the story, and you can be fully immersed. You might even achieve a flow state where you are 100% focused and forget about the world around you. Try reading for 10 to 20 minutes before work on your morning commute, and you might find yourself more focused and productive at the office. 5. Reading opens your mind. As a reader, you will interact with different stories from different people with different ideas and beliefs. This helps open your mind and be more accepting of others, as well as improve your ability to judge other people's character. 6. Reading helps relax you. When you are reading something good, your mind is more relaxed, and the subject you are reading about might even bring inner peace. If you are reading fiction, while you may not be fed the images and sound like when you are watching a movie, you can experience the images and sound with your imagination. The feeling you get from finishing a book can be better than the feeling of finishing a Netflix episode. 7. Reading helps improve your memory. Whether you are following your favorite character through their journey or remembering tips on how to make more money, you will be using the memory area of your brain and keep it active. When you really need to remember something important, it will be easier. Every new memory you make creates synapses or brain pathways and strengthens existing ones, so memorizing will get easier. 8. Reading helps you make decisions better. When you are armed with all sorts of knowledge, making a decision can be easier because you see all possible options. You can make educated guesses on how each choice will play out and pick the one you like best. 9. Reading can help you sleep better. It can be hard to sleep when there's a lot of things going on in your mind. Reading for a short period of time can help push away what is bothering you internally. Also, we often use electronics late at night, which don't exactly help us sleep better, because bright lights signal our brain it's time to wake up. Reading a book instead can help, but make sure you put it down once it's time to sleep. 10. You become who you are meant to be. This is a bit cheesy, but by reading, you can change your personality or beliefs. Books open up completely new worlds for us to grow and develop as a person. Do you read often? Leave a comment below and check out this playlist of book summaries.
Unfortunately, it is a disappointment that people these days read less. As we know, books were the main source of entertainment centuries ago. But with the widespread of technological advances such as the cinema, television, internet, and others, many people left their books on the bookshelves. Reading is a very good habit that one needs to develop in life. Good books can inform you, enlighten you, and lead you in the right direction. There is no better companion than a good book.
Very rightly said. Reading also gives you a wonderful opportunity to learn about other cultures and places of interest in the world. It gives you an insight into the diversity of the world and the chance to visualize it. It's the books that expand our knowledge, conception, and consciousness of the world around us. The habit of reading is one of the best qualities that a person can possess. Books are known to be your best friend for a reason. So, friends, it is very important to develop a good reading habit.
Thank you for this beautiful assembly, girls, and also for enlightening us with the concept of reading and how it is important for everyone. One best book is equal to 100 good friends. One good friend is equal to a library. These lines were very rightly said by our very own Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And so, on this occasion of Vachan Prerana Din, I call upon Miss Neha Gharat to speak about the life and achievements of our former president, the missile man of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam.
Yes, thank you, Teresa. Dream is not that which you see while sleeping. It is something that does not let you sleep. This inspirational thought was given by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He was an aerospace engineer a scientist, former president, a writer, and a teacher who captured the heart and mind of millions of youth. His thirst for knowledge, perseverance, humility, compassion, simplicity, passion for work, and vision have always been a great inspiration for all of us. Let us know more about his life and his achievement on this Vachan Prerana Divas. Abul Pakir Jainullah bin Abdul Kalam was born on 15th October 1931 in a middle class family in the town of Rameshwaram, Tamil Nadu. He was inspired by his primary school teacher, Mr. Iyer, when he developed interest in flying. Due to his poor family background, he had to work to help his family needs, but he never gave up on his education. He studied in Squats Higher Secondary School at Ramanathapuram, where he used to distribute newspapers after school. By keeping his dream of taking education, he then joined St. Joseph College and graduated in physics in the year 1954. Kalam then moved to Madras in 1955 to study aerospace engineering in Madras Institute of Technology. After realizing his interest for engineering and completing the engineering, he started his career as a scientist after joining Defense Research and Development Organization in 1960. He designed helicopters for Indian Army. In 1969, he was transferred to Indian Space Research Organization, where he worked hard as a project director for Satellite Launching Vehicle 3 and successfully launched the satellite Rohini. In spite of being a science student and working as a scientist, he strongly believed that science will never take away us from the God. Rather, science can be a path of spirituality and self-realization. He expanded India's space program. He created many missiles and came to be known as Missile Man of India. After working as a scientist for many years, Dr. Kalam became the 11th President of India in the year 2002. His leadership skills as an influential leader through his thoughts made him people's president. He personified simplicity, dignity, and optimism throughout India and abroad. Every new book based on new ideas inspired him. He motivated people to read books. He wrote many books and received many prestigious awards. According to him, one of the very important characteristics of a student is to question. So let students ask questions. Kalam always liked to interact with young minds to know their dreams and views. According to him, the purpose of education is to make good human beings with skill and expertise. Enlightened human beings can be created by teachers. So, on the occasion of Vachan Prerana Divas, let's pledge to follow his footsteps and lift up India together to make his dream come true. Now, let us listen to a motivational speech by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam.
You should stand for a culture of excellence. The excellence not by accident. It is a process where an individual continuously strives to better oneself. The performance standards are set by themselves. They work on their dreams with focus and are prepared to take calculated risk and do not get deterred by failures as they move towards their dreams. Then they step up their dreams as they tend to reach the original targets. They strive to work to their potential. In the process, they increase their performance, thereby multiplying further their potential. This is an unending life cycle phenomena, culture of excellence. They are not in competition with anyone else but themselves. That is a culture of excellence. I'm sure each one of you will aspire to become a unique with culture of excellence. I learned every youth wants to be unique. Every youth wants to be unique. That is you. Every youth wants to be unique. That is you. But the world around you is doing its best day and night to make you just everybody else. Question is whether you want to be you or everybody else. Being like everybody else is convenient at the first glance, but not satisfying in the long vision. The challenge, therefore, my young friends, is that you have to fight the hardest battle. You have to fight the hardest battle which any human being can ever imagine to fight, and never stop fighting until you arrive at your destined place. That is the unique you. To get the unique you, it's a big battle. The battle means you don't need to take a gun. The battle means you have to have four unique things. Four unique tools you must have in that battle. One is you have to set the goal. The second one is acquire the knowledge continuously. And third one, it's the hard work with the devotion. And fourth is perseverance. Where there is righteousness in the heart, where there is righteousness in the heart, there is beauty in the character. When there is beauty in the character, there is harmony in the home. When there is harmony in the home, there is an order in the nation. When there is order in the nation, there is peace in the world. Question is whether you want to be you or everybody else.
Thank you.
Wow, that was brilliantly put together, Neha. Thank you so much. It was indeed enlightening to hear about the great life of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. You can find magic wherever you look. Sit back and relax. All you need is a book. But sadly, during this lockdown, we are unable to have access to our libraries. And so, we dearly miss our college library and the luxury of having access to hundreds and thousands of books easily available to us for reading. So, in order to overcome this problem, we were introduced to the Electronic Information Literacy EIL course conducted by our very own ma'am, Dr. Shakuntala Nigod, wherein, with the help of ma'am's tutorials and guidance, we had the opportunity to explore various online databases, namely Enlist, NDLI, and many others, where we got to access different journals, articles, and also our favorite books. So, making use of this valuable resources, the students of SYB Ed Batch 2019-21 of STIE got together with their internship groups and researched about various books related to the topics given to them. The findings were put together into a PDF and a video by the students themselves, which will be displayed today on the occasion of Vachan Prerana Divas at the online book exhibition competition held by the STIE library. The evaluation criteria for the group was creativity presentation 10 marks, relevancy to the theme 10 marks, collection diversity covering various aspects of the theme 10 marks, visual impact 10 marks, rules followed 10 marks with a total of 50 marks. The rules given to them while preparing the video was time limit 5 5 minutes to maximum 7 minutes. The number of books to be included were 40 to 50, which were full text books openly accessible through the links. The first slide of the video should have been a theme of exhibition and the names of the creators. The last slide should be an APJ Abdul Kalam thought about reading or books or knowledge. They were also given the freedom to make use of all the possible features to make their exhibition video most impressive. So, the videos that will be played during the exhibition are the abridged versions of the original videos. These book exhibition videos will be available to everyone on the college website with, with the full text availability of the links. So let us begin with our first group. Calling upon Ms. Sara Carvalho from the internship group of St. Louis High School, Andheri, to introduce their topic on books on and by October-born famous Indian personalities. Over to you, Sara.
Once again, good afternoon to everyone present here today. In today's time, feeling of patriotism, truth, and nonviolence have taken a backseat. The true sense of patriotism and democracy have been put under wraps for political agendas. The state of our country is very pitiable today. Somewhere in our heart, we know what is happening is wrong, and there is need for a revolution like the Gandhian era. Where's the courage and valor Lal Bahadur Shastri showed? The ideals of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, which we have sadly forgotten. They have left their legacy behind, which fortunately we can relive through literature based on their lives. So here's a small video on literature based on these lives of these great sublime men, giving a glimpse on their philosophy and their ideals.
Thank you, St. Louis Convent High School, Andheri, for your brilliant presentation. Next, I call upon St. Louis High School, Daisar, to showcase their presentation, and their topic is biographies of famous personalities.
Every life has a beginning, middle, and an end, and how one has lived one's life should be of great interest to those who are still at the beginning. Great personalities have brought differences to the world with simple inventions and discoveries, by creating minor changes, by introduction of unusual, yet the common people have become the famous personalities. Whether it is politics or arts or science, whether it is religious or philosophical, whether it is big or small, the impact made by people made them famous personalities. While many of us are aware about the famous people for their notorious inventions, there are in fact many great personalities who fail to gain worldwide recognition. We, the internship group of St. Louis High School, the Hisar, take it as an opportunity to bring you the comprehensive details about the biographies of famous personalities of the world along.
That was a very beautiful presentation, St. Louis High School Daisar group. Next, I would like to call upon Jonita from the group St. Charles Convent High School to introduce their topic of English fictions, classics and short stories.
Fiction. Literature created from the imagination and not presented as fact. A work of fiction is created in the imagination of its author, who invents the story, makes up the characters, the plot, the storyline, the dialogues, and sometimes even the setting. There are three main types of fictions: the short story, the novella, and the novel, and seven main genres or subsets: crime, fantasy, romance, science fiction, western, inspirational, historical fiction, and horror. Fiction is largely perceived as a form of art and entertainment. The ability to create fiction is considered to be a fundamental aspect of human culture. Now, let us go on a wonderful journey that will bring pleasure and smiles on all our faces. Tour de Fiction by St. Charles Convent High School Wakola Internship Group.
Thank you, St. Charles Convent High School, for your marvelous presentation. Moving on, I now welcome Ms. Pritika Matre to introduce our guest speaker for today.
Good afternoon, everyone. It gives me immense joy to introduce Sir Maxwell Lopez. Sir Maxwell is a faculty member of Nursi Monji College of Commerce and Economics in the Economics Department. He is a Gandhian ideologue and has published various research papers linking commerce with Gandhian ideology. Girls, can you guess who am I talking about? Well, yes, your guess is right. He is the same who sang Raghupati Raghav Rajaram in his melodious voice during our feast celebration. Sir is a voracious reader who believes in Dr. Kalam's philosophy. One best book is equal to 100 good friends. And today he will be sharing with us his opinions on the topic Books are True Friends. With that, I ask you to give your full attention to Sir Maxwell. On behalf of our principal, Sister Tanuja, our professors, and the entire STI family, with a warm welcome, we welcome you, sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon to one and all. Am I audible, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes. So once again, the same introduction. And actually, when ma'am asked me for my introduction, that time I told there is no need to introduce me again because now I am a part of St. Teresa College. Only one thing was enough to introduce me, that is a reader. Because today I am going to share my experience of reading with you. Today I am not an ideologue. I am not a person who has to sing a song before you. I just have to share my experience, that how I developed reading habit. So without delay, I would like to start it. That the understanding of life is the basis and beginning of all the things. Reminiscing this thought of greatest philosopher Count Leo Tolstoy, strengthen my generalization that in order to understand our life in perfect way, we have to look upon our life as a reflection. Even in educational philosophy, you all must have studied the theory of Swami Vivekananda and his definition of education. That education is manifestation of divine already existed in human being. But what happened in our actual life that we turn a blind eye towards our own behavior, and at the same time easily we can immediately pick out the faults in other person's behavior, and at the same time can provide multiple suggestions and how he can overcome that particular threat. What if we subject our own behavior under perfect scrutiny and observe our own life? For example, in a music practice, we always place a mirror before us in order to see our reflection, and especially our facial expressions we have to check on regular interval so that we can make necessary changes. When we have to sing alap, that akar part, sometimes there can be some twist, so we have to recover it. But in our daily life, to be aware of all the things, of all our movements, and to have a second person eye and to analyze our own behavior is a difficult task, and at the same time it requires continuous practice. Reading is the key through which you can have access to that treasure to develop a second person's eye. For all the time we read, whether it is a novel or travelogue or any biography or news from the newspaper. At that time, we imagine our existence at the place. And such imagination can be developed by continuous reading. In short, to be successful in life, very first, we have to develop second person's eye that I told just now. To have second person's eye for our own activity, we require imagination. And imagination we can develop by continuous and passionate reading. In all faculties, there is a considerable debate whether an expert from that faculty is born or made. And there is at the same time abundant justification in order to defend their own points. My life is such an experiment where I have turned myself from a sluggish pupil to a voracious reader. Credit, of course, goes to all those critics who always picked on my ideology. And my self-defense compelled me to read in detail whatever I was believing, in whatever thing I had deep faith. And that habit of reading revealed me a new life where I found myself staying day and night in the pavilion ever constructed by greatest people of the history. And very soon I experienced that all these greatest noblemen, they came for residence, perpetual residence, I should say, in the mansion of this body. Books offer an opportunity to travel back in time. So in short, reading is a time machine. Till today, sometime I meet Franklin Roosevelt, sometime I can meet easily Socrates, and sometimes Ruskin, and sometimes Tolstoy. It's very easy. And books are those travel machines. When I had been learning music since my tender age, I was not able to give proper justice to the lyrist because I was totally unable to understand the impression that the lyrist wanted to explain. And I asked for the reason to my music guru, and he suggested me to read more and more because we need to understand the thought process of that songwriter. And then at that time also I started reading, and till today I can find that this reading habit is a long process. So far this much I have developed, but still I am working on it. Then I started reading the biography of Swami Vivekananda at the age of 20. Recently I had finished my graduation and had ample time. Every day before I go for a nap, I would read 10-20 pages from that book. And after that, when I slept, I literally dreamed about all those divine words. And I experienced that those divine words, they started floating before my eyes. And inadvertently, it developed my Marathi language. Then after joining NM, I started reading English. Of course, credit goes to 2.5 hour train traveling, and all those books which I have PDF copies of the books which I have saved in my mobile. At least I have 500 to 600 books in my mobile. Then I was invited to a college to deliver a speech on Mahatma Gandhi. Before that, I had not given any public speech. I was not having stage fearing because from beginning, as you all know, I'm a classical singer. That's why I was performing. But I was totally oblivious to the fact that what I am going to deliver. Because though I was a reader, I was not knowing how to have symmetrical balance in the sentences. Second thing, I am a Marathi medium student, and there I had to deliver speech in English, the language which is alien to me. Till today, I can't say that I'm master of that language because it's not my language. It's a foreign language. The affection, the connectivity that I have with Marathi, I can't claim that I have with English or Hindi. So it was my first public speech. I was just blank. And I was thinking, what should I deliver? And that time, one of the philosophers whom I had read, he came to my aid. And Theodore Roosevelt, the president of USA, he struck me. And I remembered one of his quote, and I started. And the speech went for 40 minutes smoothly. The sentence that day was, a person has to be honest with all his friends in all his dealings. And at the same time, he has to be fearless in the presence of foes. And then I connected that quote with Mahatma Gandhiji's life. I started narrating his life, his biography. And after 40 minutes, I got good compliments from all the students and teachers. And then my journey started as a Gandhian ideologue. Recently, very first time I delivered speech in Hindi. Even it was a difficult task for me. But of course, some years back, I had read some poems of Santa Mirabai in Rajasthani and Brajapoli Bhasha. And that time I had translated those poems into Marathi. So it was my aid. Then some of my colleagues from degree college, they suggested me, why don't you present research paper? Because you have good reading. At least in a week you read one book. So you must write research paper. I was not knowing the format of research. But one thought clicked that whatever I read and whatever I write, if I write a research paper, I can organize that information, I can adjust that information in more constructive way. And then I asked one of my colleagues to explain me the format of research paper. He explained me, and I presented my very first research paper. You will be surprised to know the madam who was the first judge on that day, Professor Geeta Shetty. She was the peer leader of that day when I published my first research paper, and I got a letter of appreciation from her. And it was a pleasant surprise for me too when I was sharing the same platform with her on the event of Miss Education. Then, don't you think life itself is a reading? Because every day we read multiple things, and especially faces of multiple people. But when we read people, we use our false imagination to judge that person. We force our own criteria to know what is going on inside that person's mind. हम उसका चेहरा देखते हैं और हम बोलते हैं ये दुखी लग रहा है. But on what basis we can find out that? We use our own criteria to judge his sorrows and his happiness. What if we divert the same reading habit towards a constructive direction, and how much benefits we can reap by that way? That is very essential thing. Then when I was in school, I read one of the topic of Pula Deshpande. Many Marathi people, they must be knowing Purushottam Lakshman Deshpande, a famous Marathi literature. He had explained in that topic that books are true friends. They never ask questions, but develop a kind of inquisitive mind, which later on can become a source of knowledge. They never talk, but give us wisdom. Wisdom of words and sometimes with action. They are non-living beings, but they have full potential to ignite a person's action, which in future can shape the history. Then I remember that I had to give some gift to my wife. on the event of her birthday. It was first birthday after our wedding. And I was just thinking, what should I gift her? Because that time I was on probation basis, so I had to think smartly. Gift had to be eco-friendly at the same time economic. So what could I give her to impress her? Then I learned that she is a fan of J.K. Rowling. You all must be knowing Harry Potter. My genre is not to read sorcery, so I had never read J.K. Rowling. But then I read one of her speech that she had delivered on the commencement ceremony of Harvard University, that infringe benefits of failure and importance of imagination. So what I did, I translated the whole speech into Marathi. Then I spent 5 days in an isolated room in my house without, because I wanted to give it as a surprise. And on a big card paper, I wrote the whole speech in calligraphy. If you can see here, it is there. And on her birthday, I gifted her. She was very much surprised because same like me, she was, as I am alien to Hindi, she is alien to Marathi. I read the whole speech for her, and then she asked me, why you gave me this speech only? So I told her, because in my life, nothing is more important than words. Even in Bible, there is a nice quote that the grass withered, the flowers fadeth, but the word of God shall endure forever. Even in Sanskrit, word means akshar. If we break that word, akshar, kshar means which perishes. Means no. So the thing which never perishes, that is known as akshar. So for in my life, nothing was more important than akshar, that is word. Yeah, one thing I know, it is superior to words, and that is sur, musical harmonies. But today I can't claim that it is in my capacity. So for me, till now, the supreme thing is words. Words have full potential to give concrete form to your thoughts. And these thoughts, they can change the course of history. Longfellow, very rightly, he has said that lives of great men, they can remind us that even we can make our life sublime, and thus departing leave behind us the footprints on the sand of time. During my school days, as I told you, that I was not a good reader, but I fond of reading some Marathi stories from Marathi book. I still remember one of the story of greatest author Arti Prabhu, whose another name is Chintaman Trembak Khanolkar. Through one of his character, Ahmed Bhai, and late Chief Minister Yashwantarao Chauhan, through his character Kulsum Dadi, they taught me secularism. Great poetess Padma Gore, she bequeathed me a poet's mind. Then Kanwa, a character whom I met when I was in 4th standard. It explained me how should be the selfless service. And I become acquainted to that selfless service character at that age. Then Usha Mehta, whose one of the poem I studied when I was in 3rd standard. The poem name was Survantara. Later on, I translated the same poem into English under the title The Caterpillar Story. The original poem was आमच्याशी कुणी मुळी बोलतच नाही, आमच्याशी कुणी मुळी खेळतच नाही. No one pays me any heed, neither caters to my need. In this way, I have translated it. So it brought me face to face at that age with the reality that unless you make yourself someone, world is not going to identify themselves with you. But you just grow from a caterpillar to a butterfly. And even flowers also will call you to sip some honey from them. Then during my college days, I read the letter of Abraham Lincoln to the headmaster. I would like to read one excerpt, my favorite excerpt from that speech. So, dear teacher, will you please take him by his hand and teach him things we will have to know, teaching him but gently if you can. Teach him that for every enemy there is a friend. He will have to know that all men are not just, that all men are not true. But teach him also that for every scoundrel there is a hero, that for every crooked politician there is a dedicated leader. And after this speech, I read a Marathi translation of the same speech by Vachan Prerana, Abraham Lincoln's headmaster's patra. And it inspired me so much that I realized that even translation can be much more beautiful than the original rhetoric piece. And then I also began to translate certain things from English and Hindi to Marathi. Percy B. Shelley, one of the greatest poets from Britain, a very famous poem, Mask of Anarchy, which she had written on the occasion of Peterloo massacre. Standing calm and resolute, like a forest close and mute, with folded arms and weapons, looks which are weapons in unvanquished war. And if then the tyrants dare, let them ride amongst you there. That poem I read. And subsequently I translated it into Marathi. Then many greatest people's speeches, especially Trees with Destiny of Pandit Nehru. Then as I had told you, J.K. Rowling's speech and Mahatma Gandhi's speech, Theodore Roosevelt. All these speeches I started to translate in Marathi. There also I enjoyed that creativity. Because whenever you translate, it is the most creative job and challenging job, I must say. Because at the time of translation, you have to do even culturalization of that particular piece. Like Isaac Watt, his very famous poem, When I Survey the Wondrous Cross. There is a line, all the vain things that charm me most, I sacrifice them to his blood. When I have to translate this into Marathi, to sacrifice, how can I translate it? Word to word translation I don't like. Then I used one of our Indian terminology. अर्ध्यतयाचे अर्पितो मी ख्रिस्ताच्या पावन रुधिरी. Ardhya, the term which is used in Indian ideology to depict sacrifice, that I had to use. So in this way, I started my translation. Now I write for many weeklies, magazine, newspapers, but all time I have to be reader. Because whenever you want to be writer, you have to be first reader. If you want to be a good speaker, you have to be a good listener. And I try to become a good listener, to be a good reader. Finally, let me admit that today I am not here to boast my self-glory, but I just wanted to share with you my experience and the transformation from an sluggish lad to a reader. May you realize the benefit of reading, and my experience of reading help you in that process. Jai Vasundhara. Thanks to one and all.
Thank you, Sir Maxwell, for taking us through your journey as a reader. Now, I would like to call upon Miss Angel Raj to deliver the formal vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, Sir Maxwell Lopez, for your inspiring talk on the topic Books Are Best Friends. You said that you were a part of our STI family, and we are truly grateful that you feel so, and we heartily welcome you. And thank you so much for inspiring us to reflect on our life and our own behaviors. Surely, we are all motivated to reflect on our own characteristics and to develop positive behaviors and attitudes. Also, we are grateful for the encouragement to read voraciously and to read continuously. Also, throughout your speech, I realized that we modern students read mostly English classics. We read about English books, and we mostly forget about our regional languages. We don't read books that are written in our regional languages like Marathi, Hindi, or Tamil, or any of our mother languages. And it would and your speech truly inspired all of us to continue and to start reading in our regional languages also, and to also read not only books or novels or fiction, but also to read non-fiction, to read magazines, to read speeches, so that we can be inspired by them also. Also, like you said, a person who reads is never truly alone. He has books as his true friends. So I'm sure that your talk has inspired all of us to start reading, and has inspired us to read more and more. Thank you so much, Sir Maxwell.
Thank you, Angel. Let us now move on with our other three groups for the book exhibition competition. I now call upon Ms. Danica D'Souza to introduce her STI teacher training internship group, St. Elias High School Car, and the topic for this exhibition is Children Literature, Moral Stories, Literature for Young Readers.
Thank you, Teresa. A very good afternoon to everyone present here. Good children's literature appeals not only to the child in the adult, but also to the adult in the child. Our topic for the presentation is children's literature, the body of written works and accompanying illustrations produced in order to instruct or entertain young minds. This genre encompasses a wide range of works, including acknowledged classics of the world literature, picture books, easy-to-read stories written exclusively for children, fairy tales, fables, and lullabies. Children's literature can be used to shape young minds and imbibe in them good values. Here's presenting to you a treasure house of knowledge on children's literature.
Thank you, St. Elias Group, for your wonderful presentation. Now, I would like to call upon Kritika, our STI trainee teacher from St. Teresa's Boys High School, to present or introduce their topic of poems.
A gift to bring you. You have no idea how hard I have looked for a gift to bring you. Nothing seemed right. What's the point of bringing gold to the gold mine or water to the ocean? Everything I came up with was like taking spices to the Orient. It's no good giving my heart and my soul because you already have these. So I have brought you a mirror. Look at yourself and remember me. A poem by Hazrat Maulana Rumi. Poetry is when an emotion has found its thought and the thought has found words. We, St. Teresa's Boys High School internship group have come together to make a collection of various poems. We have collected poetries from various databases like NDLI, Enlist, etc. We are presenting a wonderful collection of poems. Hope you all enjoy reading it.
Thank you, St. Teresa's Boys High School, Bandra, for your amazing presentation. I now call upon our last internship group for today. Ms. Valencia Fernandez is going to introduce a group, Our Lady of Health Sahar, and their topic is Nature, Plant Kingdom, Plant Health, United Nations theme for 2020.
Good afternoon to one and all. They say, feed the plant and the plant will feed you. This quote is very much apt to our group's theme for today's online book exhibition on account of Vachan Prerana Divas. Our theme is Nature, Plant Kingdom, Plant Health, which is also the United Nations theme for the year 2020. The United Nations declared 2020 as the International Year of Plant Health with the purpose to raise global awareness on how protecting plants can help end hunger, reduce poverty, protect the environment, and boost economic development. It is therefore our duty to take care of plants around us because if there is plant health, there is human health. We now present to you our collection of resources on the topic of plant health.
Thank you, Our Lady of Health Sahar Group, for your wonderful presentation. With this, we come to an end of the online book exhibition competition. Our teachers at STIE haven't left any stone unturned to inculcate in us the habit of reading. And for that, reading periods were included in our weekly timetables, wherein we would make use of the different databases and internet resources and spend time in reading. Now, I would like to call upon our ma'am, Dr. Shakuntala Nigot, to present the findings from the reading documentation forms that each one of us would fill at the end of each week. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Lorna. Good afternoon, dear all. Students, we initiated reading hour in college timetable from 10th of August, if you remember, and had it for in all 11 weeks. The best thing is that every week you are documenting your reading through a Google form, and we have received total 471 responses. So though very few, here also some defaulters are there. It shouldn't happen, girls. Please document your readings so that you will have an inventory of active links or names to information resources on various topics of your need or interest. Here are some findings we could get from your weekly reading documentation. Uh, though many of you say that you like to get actual fragrance of the paper, usage of electronic resources is found 67% as compared to 37% of physical resources. Inaccessibility of libraries due to lockdown may be the reason behind this. Students,
You are reading various types of resources ranging from books, journals, educational and popular magazines, newspapers, various open access internet resources, educational videos, educational films, theses, dissertations, research reports, reference sources like encyclopedias, dictionaries, directories, maps, atlas, blogs, etc. I'm proud to announce that Centriza's Institute of Education is more often in top 10 users of Enlist throughout the country. It proves that you are using subscribed database Enlist to a very good extent. Keep it up, girls. In your preference to resources, books with 31% is on first place. Newspaper with 17% is on second place. And educational video with 14% is on third place, followed by other type of resources. Among books, you have preferred reading fictions, novels, self-help books, and biographies. Hindu and Times of India are the most read newspapers by you. Students, we are truly happy that you have learned source citations very well, which is a need of the hour, especially in academics. I must mention that 47% citations in the responses were complete and accurate in documentation form. Welcoming thing is that 7% people documented a reading when there was no compulsory reading period in class timetable. So keep it up, girls. You're doing considerable amount of reference reading related to curriculum, that is 21%, more often for preparing essays and to do your assignments, and also for college activities, programs, celebrations, and various certificate courses, and for practice teaching too. You are also reading out of interest also to gain general knowledge. More interestingly, 19% of the readers honestly mentioned that they usually preferred leisure reading. We are also happy that 7% students are reading for competitive exam preparation like TET, SET, NET, etc. So all the best, girls. Most appreciating fact is 39% readers went a step ahead to provide insights or takeaways or gist, abstract or review in short of what they have read, which was actually not made compulsory in the form. So this was need and usage analysis of resources which you are using in the process of developing self as an expert and knowledgeable teacher. In fact, the short summaries, takeaways written by you will be helpful for us also for collection development of STIE library. So students, we are happy that this lockdown did not hamper your reading habits and knowledge gaining. All the best, keep reading, keep growing. Congratulations students for beautiful and creative book exhibitions, especially NDLI Club and SMC committee members for wonderful celebration of Vachan Prerana Din. Well done and thanks a lot for all efforts you have taken personally and also as a team member. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for taking so much of efforts in putting together the findings of our documentation. We really appreciated it. Okay, so now it's time for some fun and games. So brace yourselves, everyone. I call upon Miss Annabelle and Miss Larissa to take over this quiz session.
So good afternoon, girls. The
Thanks
quiz
for your time,
link.
Teresa.
So the quiz link is there in the chat box. You all could just click on it and access the quiz. We will display the final results at the end.
All right, here we have the winner. Neha Gharat comes first, Coral second, Swinal third, Valencia fourth, Janita fifth. And thank you everyone for participating. Congratulations, Neha.
Thank you,
Thank
girls,
you,
for
Annabelle.
participating. And thank you, Annabelle and Larissa, for such a fun filled quiz session. Now, to move ahead, I would like to call upon dear Dr. Sister Tanuja Bagmare to speak a few words and declare the winners of our online book exhibition competition. Welcome, sister.
Thank you. Thank you, Teresa. And good evening to everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, sister.
Okay. So, first of all, I would like to congratulate each one of you for the very good participation. I was really very impressed about all what Ma'am Shakuntala has said about your reading habits, especially. Even in this lockdown, you have really made a very good effort. And so, congratulations once again to you. We are very happy that you are making the best of all that is being given to you. Another thing I would like to thank you is for the SWOT analysis that you helped us to do yesterday. Everyone has answered, so we are very grateful to each one of you. Thank you very much for your cooperation, and please continue to do so. You know, this online thing is a very dicey thing, I think, because you don't know whether anybody is listening to you, whether you are there. So that goes in to tell all of you that you have to be sincere with yourself, sincere with the professors, because for each and every activity that you are doing, your attendance is being marked. So if anything goes wrong at the end of your term, don't blame STIE. You are responsible for yourself. You are matured enough, whether whatever you are doing, whether you are giving your lessons, recording your lessons, whether you are listening to a lecture, when you are answering your essays, if the professor tells you to put on your videos, you have to put on your videos. And just to remind you, if you are not seen when you are answering an essay, sorry to say, the essay will not be accepted. I don't want to judge anyone. We have already had cases in the past essay where girls could not be seen. So I don't want to comment anything on that, but I leave it to you because you are matured. We trust you fully, and we know that you will not deceive yourselves and that you will not deceive God too. So coming back to the results of the online book exhibition, I think you must be all very, very eager to know about it. So to begin with, and first of all, I want to thank Ma'am Shakuntala. Ma'am Shakuntala, I thank you very much from the whole STIE family for taking up this good initiative, especially the reading period. It has brought a lot of credit to the college, all because of Ma'am Shakuntala, and yes, each and every dear professor in the college too. So coming back to the results of the online book exhibition, I begin with the third consolation prize. That is the third consolation prize. It was on poems. St. Teresa's Boys High School, Bandra, with 33 marks. Second consolation prize on children's literature, St. Elias High School, with 34 marks. And the first consolation prize for biographies, St. Louis High School, Dahisar, 35 marks. So congratulations. Yes, give them a big hand. I don't know whether you'll be able to hear. Yes, so we applaud for them. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Now, okay, thank you. Hear me?
Yes, sister.
Okay, third prizes for the fictions, St. Charles Convent High School, Vakola, with 37 marks. Second prize, Plant Health, Our Lady of Health, Sahar, with 38 marks. And the first prize, October-born famous Indian heroes, St. Louis Convent High School, Andheri, 39 marks. So please give them a big round of applause. Yes, fine. Thank you, girls. Thank you very much. And Ma'am Shakuntala, thank you once again. And congratulations to all the winners. And we hope that you progress in whatever you are doing. God bless each one of you. Take care of yourselves. And lots of love and prayers to all those who are at home. And we keep praying for each other. Thank you.
Thank you, sister, for your kind words.
Yes.
Congratulations to all the groups. I think all the groups have won. I will now call Miss Angel Raj to deliver the final vote of thanks.
Thank you, Teresa. As we have come to the end of the session, I would like to express my hearty thanks to our respected principal, Dr. Sister Tanuja Magmare, for giving us this opportunity. I would also like to express my utmost gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Sir Maxwell Lopez, and for his inspiring words. I would also like to specially thank our beloved staff, Dr. Giselle D'Souza, Dr. John Lopez, Dr. Sheila Phillip, Dr. Cinderella De Mello, Dr. Serena Dicuna, Dr. Reshma Rodriguez, Dr. Shakuntala Nigot, and Mrs. Delicia Pinto for encouraging us to indulge into a healthy reading habit. A special thanks to Dr. Shakuntala Nigot for organizing this wonderful program and taking special efforts to teach us about the subscribed databases like Enlist, India Live, various other sources. And I would also like to thank the NJRI Club and Student Council for their utmost participation in hosting this program. I would also like to express my gratitude to Miss Nicolette for the wonderful flyer and Miss Alicia, Miss Sarah and Miss Janice for conducting the assembly and prayer service. I would also like to thank Miss Neha Garat for saying a few words about Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. I would like to thank Ms. Kritika for introducing our speaker. A special thanks to Ms. Lorna and Ms. Teresa for comparing our event. A hearty thanks to Ms. Annabelle and Ms. Larissa for conducting the quiz. A special thanks to our tech team handled by Ms. Angel, Ms. Nicolette and Ms. Vanessa. Last but not the least, a very hearty thank you to all our internship groups for their beautiful videos and to all of you, our dear audience. With that, I urge you all to repeat the reader's pledge after me. Please place your right hand on your heart and repeat after me. Today, I stand and pledge with full faith of my ability to grow through reading and discussion. I pledge to promote the development of my country, Bharat, through judicious reading of books as well as digital reading and through right action. I shall read books and practice digital reading for knowledge as well as technological empowerment. I shall, I shall shine the light of knowledge gained to solve the problems I face as well as the challenges that affect my country. I realize that today we face multiple challenges, be it corruption, substance abuse, or environmental problems. I shall make reading a habit and be a solution to all these challenges. I shall ensure best compliance to the legal framework of my country and shall strive for a secure and secular atmosphere. I shall strive to raise high and value the value of knowledge and the pride of my country with my thoughts, words, and deeds. Please stand for the college anthem.
In the focus of the great Saint Teresa, we the molders of a bright new future, to imbibe, to impart life's values, to mold our tomorrows, to wipe off the ignorance and uphold the joy of innocence, to strive for life's far excellence, but to hold dare the impossible, to enable the unable mission, to help dream our lost true vision, as recruits in the search of the beyond, we pledge feel the pulse from above. In the focus of the great Saint Teresa, we the molders of the bright new future, to imbibe, to impart life's values, to mold our tomorrows, to strengthen, to conquer all evils, when problems of life may weigh down, to help find a silver lining in the passing of black clouds, to smile through the tears that we sent out, to reach out to the needy around us, to love and let others live in peace with the world, to love and let others live in peace with the world.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग
विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा
उच्छल जलधि तरंगा
तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे
गाहे तव जय गाथा
जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे